Hello and welcome to Diniz Farms. We're back with another episode of the Diniz Farms Edit to Autumn Oaks. So we moved the clock forward a bit here, and the grass did continue to dry throughout the day. So we now have hay here ready to get raked up. Looking at our calendar here, we're still expecting rain overnight. So while it is starting to get a little late in the day, I think that it makes sense for us to go ahead and hook the rake up and see if we can do a bit of hay baling. I think for raking up the hay, we're going to use the 6420 here to run the rake, and then we'll probably get some of the raking done, and then maybe set a worker off on raking the big field in the back while we hook up the other tractor to the baler here. Do a little bit of multitasking and see how much of this we can get done today. Now, we are going to have a little bit of a problem with picking up some grass in between here. I think this is the only run that we ended up with hay here up on the main farm. So we might, if we get frustrated with this and it's not working out too well, we may just abandon it and go back to the back part and just do the hay back there where I know it's going to work. But we're going to give this a shot first and see if we can get it to work. I'm not too worried about it. A lot of that wet grass is already deteriorated here. And just kind of glancing around, none of the rest of it is ready. So this was the only spot where we ended up with any grass that was dry enough to turn into hay. I'm kind of crowding into our grass on the left here a little bit just because I want to make sure that we're not picking up any of that wet grass that's going to cause us problems. So I would rather miss a few spots here and there and drive over some grass than have a nightmare when it comes to running the baler. And I'm really anxious to see if the small bales are going to end up working with our hayloft or not. That's kind of a big unknown for me right now. It's something that I hope works, but I've not actually had a chance to talk to Diniz Farms about it. And so we're just kind of going out on a limb here and going to trust that we're going to be able to figure that out, because I'll definitely be frustrated if I go through all of the work and effort to do small bales here and then we can't actually store them anywhere. So this is going to be a bit of a gamble of an episode to see what happens. And we're making a mess of our two haystacks here, but I know I'm going to have to jump back over and take 2 rows on this side right now. We're going to have sections with 1 windrow and sections with 2. That's okay. And actually here, the hay is a little thin, so maybe it's a good thing we're combining these 2 windrows. If I can just stay out of the grass, we'll be golden here. When we raked in real life, I didn't have a V-rake. We had, I forget what it's called, but where it's essentially this, but just on the one side. And so depending on how you line things up, you could combine 2 different passes into the same windrow. So you would go down one way and back up the other and have a combined windrow, which works out great. That's kind of what I wanted to do here, but it's not quite set up for that, but that's okay. We managed to combine some of it. We're going to ignore some of the spots there. I think that's good to go. That's going to give us enough to test with up here in the yard. And so now what we're going to do is actually take this guy all the way down here to our large field in the back and get him going with Courseplay on raking that field up. And then we'll switch gears and hook a tractor up to the baler and see what we can do about baling some of this hay and testing out this hayloft theory. I'm excited. We also had to pause for a moment and go figure out where the hazard lights were. It was bugging me. I get called out on that quite a bit, and it's ironic because I don't forget to turn those on ever when I was farming. That was one of those things that I was always really good at. And even now, I've got a little utility tractor, and I'll put the hazard lights on if I'm going to go scrape the end of the driveway and I might end up on the road or something. So it's definitely something that got ingrained in me in real life, and it's always irked me that I don't do it in farm sims. So we're going to use Courseplay back here We do have a field course set up for this. Now, I don't remember if I've got it saved here. I do not. So let's, I think I have to load the course as grass field boundary. And then we can go into course generation and use currently loaded course. We're going to do 3 headland passes. I'm going to turn this down a bit because our implement isn't that wide. And we'll see how it does. That is a really odd way to rake up the course. Now, I think part of it is because we've got such a wonky area back here. So if I drop this down to less headland passes, it's not able to really do anything with that. So let's try this again from scratch. Sometimes when you generate, it gets a little bit out of whack. So that looks a lot better. It's saying I might run into some issues due to forcing a direction setting, but I'm okay with that because it's going to actually go east and west here, so we'll be able to bale a lot better, I think. So we're going to try it out, and if it doesn't work, we'll do something different next time. So let's go ahead and get this guy all set up. I think the width and everything was all good to go. So if we just hit drive course, he should just go to town here. And then as always, when you're setting up a new course in Courseplay, make sure you set your speedometers to an appropriate value for what you're trying to do. I think for me, having a turn speed cranked up to a little bit higher is going to make sense for our rake, since we're going to do a lot of turning around this field. And yeah, he's doing it. I'm excited. This is going to work. We have confidence. So let's let this guy do his thing, and we're going to jump back over here to the farm and get this 7810 swapped out for the baler, I think. So I'm going to drop my sprayer off here. It's going to fall through the ground, apparently. We're going to drop our tanks off here as well. We don't need either of those for baling. And we're going to use this as a baling tractor. It's a nice, it's probably a little bit big. I'm not a fan of having the duals on for baling, but I'm not going to switch them out because we are going to get right back out here and be doing some spraying and such here soon. I don't think it's going to cause us any issues. So let's just see how this goes. I'll be curious to hear in the comments below what kind of setups you guys use for doing baling, especially small square baling. I know this is something a lot of people maybe don't do as much of, the small square baling anymore. It's something that we always used to do when I was on the farm. This is kind of the setup we used. I remember riding around on the back of the trailer catching bales and tossing them into a pile. So after some thought, I realized we definitely need to take the duals off. Otherwise, the dual's just going to be running down the middle of the grass you're trying to pick up. And that's just no good. No bueno on crushing all your grass before you're trying to pick it up. So we've bounced the duals off of this tractor. And now we're going to have to bring up our menu here and make sure we get everything all sorted out. And I definitely don't want to risk picking up this wet grass that's right here. So we're going to pull forward a little bit into the pile here. We're going to turn our baler on and lower it. And we've got the hay getting picked up here. And then we're going to come back here to the auto loader. We've got auto loader mode, work mode turned on, and the auto loader needs to be on small square bales. So I've pressed Z to get my small square bales. I'm going to turn on the auto loader, and we're going to start driving forward here and see what happens when we get our first bale. Maybe we need the second bale for it to come out the back of the baler here. So we're going to keep going. There we go. And we've got a bale that just bounced out the back here. If we hop out for a second and take a look at it, it's not going to actually show me, but that looks like a hay bale to me. So we're going to keep going now. and see how this works out. And it's just going to keep flinging them out into the back, and our auto load script's going to keep stacking the bales on the trailer here for us. And so I'm hoping this is going to work out really well for us. I have used this baling setup before when I played on Royalton, Minnesota, but we ran into all kinds of issues on that map with animals as well, so we didn't really get a chance to try it out too much. The small bales were not functioning right with the map, or maybe it was the alfalfa that I was baling. I can't recall, but it was a mess. So I'm hoping that it's a little bit better this time around. It's always interesting when you use a mod that introduces a new game mechanic, and not all maps and other mods are necessarily compatible with that. Let's let's go in cab here for a minute. I think if I put my tire right up alongside the pile here, that's more or less where our baler needs to be. We're gonna take a run down here and then turn around and see how poorly we actually did. It's actually kind of hard to drive that way. So baling is one of those things that I've always struggled with in Farm Sim, especially a side baler like this. It's a little bit easier when you're driving over the windrow and you just have to keep the windrow between your tires. Oops, so we're gonna lift the baler pickup here, so hopefully we're not getting any of that wet grass. And did I just lose a bale off the side? I saw a bale get shot out and not get picked up. Oh, we're good. So we're gonna put our pickup back down. I'm gonna go a little bit here, get some more of this, and then I am gonna circle back around. We missed so much hay here that I'm not going to be able to just ignore how much hay we left on the ground back there at the end row. So I just want to pick up this little straggler that we missed up by the corner here. And then we'll whip right back around and go get the rest of that. Now, I have to say, this is kind of fun to drive, partly because it goes pretty fast. I mean, we're clipping it 12 miles an hour here. It feels a little fast for baling, but I'm not complaining because grass work and I don't typically get along in Farm Sim. But if it's going to go this fast, it's not going to be too bad. We've got lots of capacity left on this trailer as well, so I'm not too worried about how many bales we're picking up. When I initially saw the thousands of bales we could put in the hayloft, I was thinking, man, we're never going to have that many bales. But as I recalled now, small bales don't hold nearly as much as the large bales. The capacity has been updated on them, which is appropriate. And so we will actually end up with quite a few bales doing it in this method. I mean, if you just look at the side here, we're stacking 7 tall. And so we've already got a good, 50 bales on the trailer here probably. So I'm excited to try this out. So even though we don't have a full load of bales, I do want to try and unload them here because I'm mostly just curious before we head out and bale up that other field, which we won't start baling that field until the windrowing is done, just because I don't want to be running over bales with the windrower when it's turning around. But we've got the trigger for this barn should be somewhere right around here. And it's been a while since I used this auto load trailer. So let's see here. I want to unload the baler. So B for auto load marker position is going to go right there, which is where I want it. And if I push Y, so we're going to drop the trailer here and pull forward with our tractor and hook something else up to the bale trailer. I think it's conflicting because I've got the baler hooked up to it still. And it's not letting me get the options for unloading the bale trailer properly. And while I wouldn't actually pull this trailer with the gator, I think we can at least hook it up here to get the appropriate options to unload. So we've got 38 bales here, and if we take a look at it, we just hit the unload button and all the bales disappeared, which should mean that they are in the bale storage now. So we're going to hop in here and see if that's actually working correctly. I think it's all working. I just didn't understand how the auto load script worked. So if we come over here to the stairs, you can see we've got 20 bales of hay loaded up into the... Oh, I can get 20 bales out at a time. We've got 40 total bales in here. And it tells me the next object is 800 liters. So the small bales are 800 liters at a pop. And so I think this is all working. I think we had a couple of regular bales in here. So I put 38 in. I think we had 2 in here before from testing on stream. And so I think it's all working. You know what? Let's pull a bale out and see. I can actually carry a small bale around. So let's just go ahead and get a bale out. And look at that. We've got a small hay bale. I'm digging it. And if I carry this down, we're probably going to feed it to some cows accidentally. That's what I'm hoping I'm not doing. But boom, right back into the storage. So this is exciting. This is working really well. Exactly what we wanted to do. And so we're going to go ahead and pull this forward here with the gator. Get it in a position where I can just back the baler right up into this bale trailer. And we're going to go out and check on how we're doing in the other field. I'm always excited when we get to do new things, try new features and functionality out on a map, and I have to say this is really well done. I'm really excited about this. It's the little features on a map that go a long way towards, I don't know, just making things more interesting. So let's just run down here and we'll check on this other field here and see how we're doing from a Courseplay and windrowing perspective. I'm a bit nervous, but also, you know, sometimes I get overly confident. I'm like, Courseplay, you've got this. And then we get out here and it's like, oh no, you didn't. So today we're feeling confident. Courseplay's got it. Wow, that's quite the driveway entrance there. A little bit steeper than I was expecting. We're gonna park this here, and looks like my confidence was justified. We're doing good here, Courseplay. We've got nice windrows, nice headland passes. It's looking good. I mean, the fact that we're windrowing against the grain, like, we'll have to ignore that. Next time when we mow, we'll be able to do a similar course like we're doing here with the windrower, I think. I was just not set up right for doing that, and we had a lot of issues during the live stream, and so I actually had to mow this field twice because the game crashed. So we're cleaning things up now, and this is looking good. So with all of that work done today, we're gonna let this guy keep raking, and we'll come out here and get this field baled up, maybe off camera, maybe we'll do it in a live stream. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's episode, though. If you have, drop a like. It helps the channel out immensely. That's all for today. Kedrick out. Oh, Courseplay. What are you doing? That is not how we back up a windrower. Oh my goodness. Just think of the damage we're causing. Let's just jackknife it and keep going. Uh-huh. I'm so glad that we're using Courseplay. Where are you going? Oh my goodness. Excuse me, sir. You're destroying my equipment. Seriously, Courseplay, there's nothing over there. Where are you going? Tractor, come back. Come back. Okay. Well, I take back everything I said nice about Courseplay this episode.